rainy season continues in Louisville, Kentucky. Welcome to the Four Roses Bourbon pregame. Louisville City FC, a chance to get ever closer to a playoff position tonight, taking on a team currently above the playoff line and in desperate need of points as the poncho-clad fans make their way in to watch the Ottawa Fury. Joined by Matt Stubbington, Mike Watson. Before the game, everyone is, well, with you, Ottawa, if you're watching. The tornadoes that rip through, terrifying, and we hope that maybe these 2 hours can be a bit of a respite as your team continues to strive for the playoffs. Now, Matt, when you think about this Louisville City side, where they sit in the Eastern Conference playoffs, they're at number 2 right now. For Ottawa, not quite as peachy. This is their 31st game. You need to start picking up points or watch New York or Nashville climb past you.
And you don't have the games in hand, so you have to make sure that you take care of business with the games that you do have available to you and get the full 3 points each time out. It's going to be a tough ask against the boys in purple. Unlikely that Louisville City will catch Cincinnati, but they want to stay in second place and get home field advantage for as long as they can in the playoffs.
Yeah, with 5 games left for each, Cincinnati would need to lose out, Louisville need to win out. It's very unlikely. So for Louisville, you can still be the number 2 seed, and that means home games in the first couple of rounds of the playoffs at minimum. Usually that's a great thing. Of late, it really hasn't panned out that way.
Yeah, it's been really strange why Lou City haven't been able to win at home. Some of it's been because of the weather, but other things have been that they just let their concentration slip a little bit. But they play entertaining football in front of their home fans. It's great home support that they have, and I can guarantee nobody in the league really enjoys coming to Slugger Field to play, and in the postseason, it could make all the difference.
Well, luckily the rain has not had quite as big an impact as it did when Louisville took on Cincinnati. The game had to be suspended, so Louisville trying to get that home form back. On the other side, this is an Ottawa team, Matt, that, well, they need to win. They're running out of time. This current road trip has started well.
It has started well. They found the back of the net with consistency. They've also able to, last time out, stop the opponents from scoring. They didn't find a way to stop TFC2 from scoring, which was a bit of a concern, but they managed to put more balls in the back of the net than their opponent on that occasion. You've got to find good form as you're heading into postseason play, keeping your fingers crossed that you are able to get the results that you need to stay above the Mendoza line. And if you can do that, Ottawa's form of late might be enough to scare some teams above them in the playoff picture.
And don't forget, Nikola Popovich is their head coach, the former Swope Park Rangers manager who, well, manufactured a run through the playoffs last year. For Louisville, they're ever closer to clinching now. 3 points would go a long way. For Maxime Crépeau and Ottawa Fury, they need to keep their playoff hopes pumping. Ottawa and Louisville are coming your way next.
Performance. Style, adventurous, safety. They say good things happen to those who wait. Well, you've waited long enough. Now at Toyota's Last Chance Clearance Event, you can get $2,250 cash back on a capable, versatile new 2018 RAV4. Or get 0.9% financing for 60 months. Or lease this RAV4 LE for just $209 a month. Make good things happen. Toyota. Let's go places.
When you have a car wreck, your body takes a beating. And your income, you know the story, it takes a beating.
I'm attorney Phil Beaton with B&B Law Offices. If you've been in a car accident, call me today. I'll give the beating so you don't have to.
La oficina de B&B, hablamos español.
Oh my gosh, look at Greg Coates' trucks. They're so big. They must be on Preston Highway.
We got big trucks and we cannot lie. Other car lots don't even try. If you want a big truck that'll put a big smile on your face, Greg Coates is the only place. We like them tall, long, and fit. With a lift kit. So ladies, fellas, do you like those big old trucks? Oh yeah. Buy it at Greg Coates Cars and Trucks. Baby got trucks.
So on your way to a ball game, you got sideswiped by a guy in an SUV who thinks he owns the whole road. You're injured and now you're going to your lawyer before getting medical treatment? You gotta be kidding me. Go see a doctor. Take care of your pain and injuries at a medical facility like Synergy. The medical specialists provide physical therapy for a living. They can also help you with all your accident-related paperwork. Give them a call and let them take care of you. It's your choice. Choose Synergy.
When you have a car wreck, your body takes a beating. And your income, you know the story, it takes a beating.
I'm attorney Phil Beaton with B&B Law Offices. If you've been in a car accident, call me today. I'll give the beating so you don't have to.
La oficina de B&B, hablamos español.
Rainy Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville City and Ottawa Fury set to meet in an important USL match with playoff implications. GE Appliances welcomes you into tonight's telecast. And Matt, we meet the starting lineup for Ottawa Fury. This is a team that is in need of points if they're to stay above the playoff line on this night. And they make 3 changes to an order that is very injury-stricken.
They do have changes on the night, and it's going to be interesting to see how things shape up for Coach Popovich's lineup tonight. But the back line is pretty intact and remains the same from the last time they played. For Louisville, there's also some changes in the starting lineup. Interestingly, Jose Carranza is in the midfield, replacing Speedy Williams alongside Del Piccolo. It's going to be important for that young man to have a really good night. Tonight's starting lineups were presented by UPSjobs.com. Louisville ready to line this one up on Noche Latina. Louisville making in total 6 changes to their order in what's a very match-heavy moment. 19 goals this year for that man, Cameron Lancaster. The Golden Boot lead. Is there another one coming in the rain tonight against Ottawa? Will he move ever closer to that Golden Boot? Can he move Louisville ever closer to clinching a playoff position so the reigning USL Cup champions can defend their title? Matt Franz is the referee. Louisville in purple and white. Ottawa in white, black, and red. For Ottawa, game number 31, 7th in the Eastern Conference. And Maxime Crépeau, one of the best goalkeepers in the USL this year, is taking the long route over to the goal, Matt. Trying to get his gloves all fixed for he needs some dry ones to be put on.
How about tonight's keys to the game are powered by Kentucky Lottery, who remind you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship Program.
Looking at the visitors, they have to find width. If they're able to do that, they'll stretch out the back line of Lou City and also occupy Oscar Jimenez and Carl Smith, stop those players gaining forwards on offense. For the home team, they have to keep composed. They haven't won at home in a long time, and they have to make sure they play the full 90 minutes to get the job done. And then they also have to be efficient, not only in front of net, but all over the pitch. They have to play with that composure, with that efficiency, find each other on the passes, connect on the possession. And that was something that John Hackworth said midweek. He wants to see his team, if they're in the lead, finish the game with possession and with confidence. So that's something that they can hang their hats on going forwards.
Matt Franz blows his whistle. Here we go. 2 teams currently above the playoff line. Louisville sturdily in playoff position. Ottawa, a bit more concerning. Big matchup here in the Eastern Conference from Slugger Field on what's a rain-soaked but still very much playable pitch. This portion of tonight's telecast brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
I thought George Davis IV might play centrally tonight for Lou City. It looks like it's McCabe that is going to be in the center area of the attacking 3 midfielders for Lou City tonight. George Davis here on the right-hand side.
Kevin Oliveira hits it. Ranjitsingh will collect. Greg Ranjitsingh sitting on 10 shutouts this year. Has started every game for Louisville City in league play, as it's a 0-0 with 1 minute in the book. Apologies for our technical error there.
See, there's some water splashing up on the surface from the rain that has been in the area. It seems like it's hindering the flight of the ball, or the roll of the ball, I should say, along the surface.
Not like it did in the Cincinnati game, huh?
the despairing look that Greg Ranjitsingh gave the ball as it seemed to...
Carranza couldn't hit Davis on that right-hand wing. And it'll get lined the other way. Sawahi being followed by Jimmy Sano.
It's good work from Sano. Took away the goalkeeper as the outlet pass for Suhai. Suarez in the end did really well. Keep possession for Lou City.
And I think one of the big matchups here isn't on the field at all. It's going to be John Hackworth against Nikola Popovich. The two head coaches should provide some, maybe not fireworks on the sidelines, but I think they're going to provide a lot tactically to a game that is played on confined field dimensions. And on this somewhat waterlogged pitch, McCabe gets it through, and Nana Adekora clears. Dos Santos goes to ground. Dos Santos played on that great Rochester team that won the 2015 USL Cup.
Looked like Jimenez had an opportunity to cross that ball in, chose to pull it back, play the ball short. Lancaster would like that ball delivered a little bit earlier from number 19. He's taking the throw in for Lou City.
Return to Del Piccolo. Put it away, Adekora. Kyle Smith has moved back into the starting order. Davis putting the moves on. Eddie Edward throws him down, comes away with the ball cleanly.
Any defender will tell you that was a fair shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. Any attacking player will say, hey, I got fouled. That was good, patient, strong defending there from Eddie Edward.
Deflects off of Carranza. Looking for a handball. Matt France says no. And early controversy here. That was Meyer Jaeger. The following service off of McCabe.
Carranza went stomping his feet like my 10-year-old there, thinking that he should have got the handball call, but that would have been really hard. Carranza going into the box. Losing his footing on the surface was Meyer Jaeger. That would have been a really tough call to go against the central defender for Ottawa.
On the back pass, Louisville tampered with, and Oliveira throwing hands a bit with Paco Craig. Oliveira last year some time with Sporting Kansas City. Was largely with Swope Park Rangers, missed the 2016 USL Cup final against New York with an ACL tear, but did play against Louisville last year.
This is what makes this field so difficult, especially in these conditions. As the rain sits on the artificial surface there, makes it very slippery. Rain still coming down.
Carl Hackworth slipping down as he took that free kick.
It's been interesting to watch the spacing of Carranza and Del Piccolo. Del Piccolo normally has his partner Speedy Williams in there. Those two players have got such good understanding.
McCabe chipping it forward out of the reach of Lancaster, and even James Sands took a little bit of time in that position. Kyle Smith has played on and off in that position when needed. Carranza's a different animal. He's a little more creative, isn't he?
A little more creative, and we've already seen it in the early going. He's a little bit more willing to go forwards than perhaps Speedy Williams is. It'll be interesting to see how that develops, that partnership.
Put back by Sano.
Looked like Crepeau was out of position a little bit when McCabe sent that ball goalward. Perhaps McCabe was disappointed he didn't threaten the net a little bit more.
Manella, middle of it all. Davis and Carranza trying to dispossess this Ottawa side that at the start of the year was trying to play like Swope Park did last year, lead the league in passing and pass accuracy. They quickly figured out that whether it was personnel or playing on that turf surface up at what is a beautiful home, TD Place in Ottawa, just didn't make a lot of sense. They made some serious changes to how they played, and they've seen their form rise because of it. Oliveira aiming for the back post. Corner coming for Ottawa.
Floated ball. Not the easiest to run onto as an attacking player.
Hackworth, open header. Dixon lifts it out of play.
And 2 set pieces in quick succession. Louisville not defending them the best. But they were able to get contact on the initial ball into the box on both occasions. Something that will have to be rectified as the game goes on.
Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products, special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders of $50 or more. Oliveira. Dos Santos in pursuit, native of Cape Verde. Ranjitsingh is really looking the worst here. Looked like off that goal kick, he went grabbing for his hip. Davis, Louisville in no hurry to get this ball out of play. And that's Ranjitsingh. Coach Hackworth, or the players not noticing, remains to be seen. Craig, nice little touch on by Lewis. Jimenez. Almost looks like ice skates a little bit as the through ball doesn't reach Sano.
Good line held there high for Lou City. Ball player would have been offside if it hadn't made its way through.
Davis goes to work. Smith on the overlap. Part of what's interesting here, and Louisville took advantage of it a lot. Davis runs out of real estate. It'll be a corner. There's that area right in front of the goal where the turf cutout is. If you go the other way, really, there's Ranjitsingh. Yeah, wow. Major concern there for the Trinidad and Tobago international, born in Pickering, Ontario.
He's in a lot of pain. External obliques there.
Matt France has gone over to check on him. This is the one position where you really can't say carry on and we'll let you in a minute. Greg Dobrovolsky has not played since the Open Cup, and that was a up and down endeavor for Dobrovolsky. Another look. You don't want to guess, but torso, hip, I mean, there's a lot could be going on there.
And you got your abdominal muscles there, external obliques. Certainly that's the area that's being looked at.
Scoreless in the 11th minute, and a lot riding on this game, plenty on tap. Louisville would need some other results to go their way, but with a win, it could be in position to clinch a playoff spot tonight. Ottawa now with Bethlehem playing their 31st game of the USL season, so they only have 3 remaining. They can't take points away from tonight. It makes things infinitely more difficult. And for Louisville, that number is unbelievable, 64 days since they last won a home game, Slugger Field. 5 winless at home. And John Hackworth hoping that they don't need to dig into their bench early. It doesn't seem like he's overly concerned at the present moment about that.
You know that Dobrovolsky's warming up. There he is in the middle of the picture.
In what, neon yellow? Well, corner coming, that's the focus now. Oh, whipped back toward the corner, nobody home. And this will be a goal kick in the end. So John Hackworth doesn't need to dig into his bench early. And he did mention that Brian Ownby came on in the last game against Penn, but the red card to Pat McMahon sort of changed how he used his substitutes. I'm sure he wouldn't like similar scenario here with a goalkeeper substitution in the opening quarter hour.
Absolutely. It might not affect Ranjitsing's mobility as far as making saves is concerned, though he'll be a little nervous coming out in 1v1 situations. But you can see as the athletic training staff wrapped up his mid-drift, he was testing to see how he would do as far as kicking the ball is concerned. And certainly it's going to affect his ability to throw the ball out as well. So missing the goalkeeper's distribution at the very least is going to be a question mark for Lou City as things go on.
Smith for Carranza. The Piccolo. Good sliding effort to keep that from finding its way through.
Great effort from Hackworth.
If you're building a franchise in this league, I don't think there are many that you would take in the Eastern Conference as a building block ahead of Carl Hackworth. Sano with a blast. That'll run off Sawahi. And look, is he an MVP candidate? No, that's not the point. It's what he brings to your dressing room. And both last year and this year, the head coach from Ottawa has been very clear about the value he can bring to the equation.
A tremendous player. He can play in many different positions and roles as well on the team, so it's not just a one-dimensional piece to the puzzle. And it allows you as a coach to have a lot more freedom with what you do with your lineup.
Carranza, that had a ton of whip on it. Jimenez, send that into a drenched purple family.
Seemed to snatch at his effort a little bit. Concern of his footing perhaps in these trying conditions. Carranza has certainly had a positive start this evening. I was wondering how he would cope as the young man getting his first start and doing a really good job all over the pitch.
Quick restart. This will run all the way to Maxime Crépeau. In May alone, he had 6 shutouts, and Lancaster came to make that a little more difficult in the end. This will go all the way to the other end. Well, this is an interesting moment here for Ranjitsing, isn't it?
It is. Does he take this himself, or does he pull back one of his defenders? He's having a conversation with Paco Craig by the looks of things.
Well, we'll see.
It was a big deep breath.
Ranjitsing's got a pretty good leg to him, the 4-year starter out of Mercer. He's been the starter here for about 2.5 years in Louisville. Yeah, he's grabbing his side again. I'm not sure he'll take a third crack at that. Sano. Yeah, he goes down now. I think this could be the end of the day for Ranjitsing.
The ball's out of play, so it can be halted on the throw-in. It was good work by Carranza to shepherd Sano to the sideline, and then Carl Smith coming over and allowing the ball to go out for the throw-in. Ranjitsing is in extreme discomfort. Probably taking that second goal kick was a mistake.
Well, Greg, last year, enormous down the stretch of the season and all the way to the USL Cup final. And he was on the field with Julie Stewart-Binks with 10,000 people surrounding him after the USL Cup final. And she asked what it meant, and he looked around at everybody and said, like, look around. How crazy is this? This is what it means to me in this city. And he's a guy who's really come into Louisville and made the best of this. He was behind Scott Goodwin a couple of years ago, and a big hug, Tim Dobrovolsky. And if there's one thing that became clear the early going of last year when those two were jostling for position, Ranjitsing was injured in the opening half of the first game. This substitution brought to you by Great Clips. it's going to be great is how much respect those two have for one another.
And goalkeepers have a unique relationship. And you see the respect and friendship that the two players have for each other. And Jetsink struggling for breath almost. He was coming to the sideline.
Service, Lancaster heads it down, Crépeau gets a touch. Well, I thought so, Lancaster thought so. The referee's not convinced, it's a goal kick. Save of the week, no more. Goal kick of the week for Ottawa.
Suddenly looked like he did get a touch. Either way, it was almost too textbook as far as the header downward from Lancaster was concerned. It bounced off of the artificial surface and over the crossbar. Crépeau had it covered either way, whether he touched it or not.
Kicked in there by Duba. And Dos Santos. So no, Ottawa has not seen a lot of the ball in attacking positions, have they?
There's been a lot of purple shirts around the ball quickly.
Carranza swarms, Sano slides in, well done. Antonio Lapere playing it behind. Oliveira, Sano. That'll land back half of Scous's house.
If Crépeau did get a touch on that, Mike, I'd have been claiming it as the goalkeeper. I was like, no, it is. It's a corner. I touched that. Give me credit for a great save.
Well, you come into a game, Matt, I would think Tim Dobrovolsky is just trying to get a good first touch on the ball here.
Last year when he had to come in, he played really well, did Dobrovolsky. Very upset that he's had to come in these circumstances, but he sees the opportunity he's been presented with.
This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Republic Bank. Louisville into the attacking third. High passing McCabe and attacking into the area. Davis going backward. McCabe, that'll go out. Corner coming for Louisville. And that was a bit behind Lancaster, who's making his run toward the 6-yard box looking for number 20.
Well, we haven't really mentioned Jonathan Lewis. He hasn't been in the attack a whole lot. He shows exactly what he is capable of.
Service from Jimenez comes up short. And you're right. The 39 and 22 look all that alike, but a 3 and a 2 on the jersey on the opposite side of the field will get you. It is Lewis. And well, Jonathan Lewis, they were just so happy to get a true winger for some depth. John Hackworth, knowing Lewis well and knowing Claudio Reyna, NYCFC, Lewis was a pretty obvious pickup.
The blogs in New York, they were worried that they were losing Lewis, thinking that he should already be starting for the club up there. But at the same time, they said, well, Sands came back from Louisville pretty good. He's played some serious minutes for us, so maybe the same happened with Lewis.
Here are some scores that, well, everybody should be paying attention to. Cincinnati is down a 0-0 to Penn FC, who were pretty spunky when Louisville took them on last time out. And Charlotte's up on New York. McCabe, Lewis. Lewis trying to cut back.
Love to have seen Lewis try and challenge Crépeau in goal. And you see what he was trying to do, anticipating the run of the defenders back towards their own goal. Trying to pass it back into the path of McCabe. Execution wasn't quite there, though.
Edward. And Ottawa takes over. 2-game win streak. You mentioned they couldn't stop a nosebleed against Toronto FC2. 4-3 game, but they did win. And a 2-0 victory over Richmond. In reality, those are not the same quality of a win against a Louisville or a Cincinnati, but they count nonetheless, put them above the playoff line. A lot of the talk this week in the public media sessions for Ottawa that this is the reigning USL Cup champion, a chance to go knock them out at their place. Smith, excellent ball. Davis brings it down. Davis cuts it back in front. What a save, Crépeau! Save of the week nominee right there. McCabe got robbed.
Well, we didn't know whether he touched the one from Lancaster, but he certainly touched this one. That was beautiful build-up, like what would have been a goal of the week nominee for my money because of the team build-up involved in this play. Was completely robbed from Crépeau. Look at the footwork from the keeper. Strong right hand. Had to be quick to his right. Moving from the near post. He had to be at the near post in that position. Something that keepers work on time and time again in practice.
Smith curling too far. Maxime Crépeau. What an incredible season he's had. Wow.
Pure commitment. Position at the near post, anticipating that ball driven back along the goal line for players to run onto. That's where he was positioned. As soon as that ball was pulled back to McCabe, he then had to change his attack on the ball and get across the goal quickly.
Got a little Craig Anderson in him there. Throw the paddle out like that. Asked Nikola Popovich about Eddie Edward, and he said he is a flag for our franchise. Kind of guy that you showed everybody else as a model of consistency. Dos Santos, El Piccolo. Two players come at it. Neither came away. McCabe fouled from behind by Edward.
This is part of keeping the composure that Louisville have to do. I feel like some calls haven't gone their way from Matthew Franz, the center ref tonight. Del Piccolo thought that he was just flattened moments ago, as did George Davis the fourth. Whistle not forthcoming. Finally it does go the way of the home team as McCabe hits the deck. And Hackworth giving instructions to George Davis the fourth.
Yeah, get me an umbrella. This has been the most quirky weather season I've ever seen in USL for Louisville this year. The North Carolina game early this year was rained out. And the Cincinnati game stopped half an hour in, completed a few days later. More rain today.
Change of practice venues at the beginning of the season because the normal one was flooded.
Yeah.
Trying to use my words there, mate.
Yeah. McCabe, Lewis, dynamite slide. And this will be a goal kick, rather a free kick. Looks like the offside flag went up.
Just straight a little bit offside. Crépeau giving a thumbs up to the official on this near sideline.
Thanks again, Chief. Another score from around the Eastern Conference. Pittsburgh and Indy 11. Scoreless at the half. Keep you up to date around the league. In case you aren't flipping around ESPN Plus, taking advantage of that multi-screen viewer. That's how Matt watches so much film.
End up going cross-eyed.
Return ball from McCabe came up short. Back by Paco Craig. Dobrovolsky came on for the injured Greg Ranjitsingh. Had his torso wrapped up, stayed in the game another 5-10 minutes. Ended up going down after a second effort at a goal kick. You see his 1 in yellow on the Toyota bench there. Too far for Carranza. Carranza's 4th appearance for Louisville City. 13 games played for ATLU TD2. 19-year-old native of Virginia.
Very mobile throughout this early going in this match.
John Hackworth is in his 9th game as Louisville's head coach. Coming in after a stunningly positive run by the triumvirate coaches of Davis, Del Piccolo, and Spencer. It does make you wonder if Luke is over on the bench right now going, not the decision I would have made. I think he's just happy to be playing again, not worrying about it.
He played really well on Wednesday.
Come off the bench here today. It's an interesting situation. You've got the Golden Boot leader in Cameron Lancaster, who's just been nicked up all year long. This is played back to Craig. But in reality, the way this formation works out, you don't really need 2 number 9s, and unless you drop Lancaster into a number 10 role, there really isn't room for Spencer and Lancaster together.
There isn't, and even with the old 3-4-3 that was being played, the 2 of them weren't on the pitch a whole lot together because they both occupy that central role so ably. It would be interesting to see the 2 of them on the pitch at the same time, if possible, with Lancaster underneath Spencer to get those return balls. Spencer is such an able target for the long balls forwards.
And Lancaster can play a false 9, and he can play number 10, and
just play under that hole, in that hole underneath Spencer.
He's a little more, has more options maybe than a Luke Spencer does. Luke really is, you don't want to say pigeonholed, but there's one position that he's built for.
There's a little bit more to his bow than things some people give him credit for, but you're right, he is known a little bit more for being more of a target than Lancaster is.
Lewis goes back. Lewis will let this glide by him. Louisville load up again. Ball toward Del Piccolo. Lewis takes it down. Ottawa appeals for a handball. Hackworth won't get it. Referee waving play on. As Lewis went to ground. Service whipped out in front, then cleared this time by Atakora. Now Hackworth trying to start the charge the other way and struggling to get this ball up. He trips. Louisville trying to get through. Atakora is there again.
Some untidy sequence of play there for both teams. Louisville unable to get the ball into the dangerous area. Met each time by Ottawa. They did really well defensively. On the clearance, Paco Craig is upended.
This portion of tonight's telecast brought to you by Sullivan University. Louisville City and Ottawa Fury. Big USL game in that Louisville can hold on to second place in the East with a win. Ottawa can stay above the playoff line for the night with a win. Ottawa only 4 more games, including tonight, so time running out to assure their position in the playoffs.
Foul there by Smith, turning his back into the defender as the ball was being brought away by Fury. Franza is down.
Franza grabbing at the back of his head here. Had some trials over in Europe. Last year, Atlanta brought him in and said, we want to sign you, and you need to be here in 24 hours.
No pressure.
And there he goes. I probably had to fly Delta to get a flight there. One had to imagine. Lancaster holds it up. And sprayed ahead. Lancaster trying to work his way through. Good slide by Mayer Giger. Craig. Passing triangle works to perfection. Now they're trying to switch the ball up the right-hand side. Nikola Popovich in the red rain jacket, trying to wave his team toward this near side.
Strength on the ball, and then the interception from Gagnon Lapare. Carl Smith trying to find Lancaster through the channel. Lapare was right there though. We're doing a good job of hanging around, making life difficult. I haven't really found any width to speak of going forwards. I really haven't had any real possession to speak of going forwards because Louisville have done a good job defending in numbers.
There it is again, huh?
But I also say that Louisville, they haven't had the efficiency that they've needed in the attacking third.
Sawahi trying to avoid a bit of a howler of a clearance. Offside flag was up anyway.
Santos there coming up on offside position to try and play the ball.
To Lewis, who switched sides with Davis. Carranza. Crowd's got a real nice sound to it tonight. Lewis being bodied off by Edward, continues on. Jonathan Lewis went down. But Smith there to recover, aims this toward the back post, and picked up by Crépeau.
Well, it's great work from Lewis on this right flank to put Eddie Edward under pressure, but Gagnon Lapare, wonderful defending from his midfield position, coming back just when he was needed to stop the entrance of Lewis further into the box.
Bounces up, Lancaster in pursuit, and Crépeau will jump out. Like a long jumper, come to a complete stop. Right on the edge of that 18-yard box.
Nice ball in from Smith. Total commitment from Davis the fourth. Wasn't able to find purchase on the ball though, as he slids along the surface.
Sort of looked like Crépeau is looking over at Hackworth going, that's yours. Get to it, buddy. Sano showing good speed forward. Sano. Ton of English on that.
Hey now.
I first thought that had to be deflected, no?
And it almost went out for the throw-in.
It's coming home. It's going home.
I like the song, but they started playing it after the team won one game.
Let's touch onward. Davis is nearing 200 career USL appearances. Away by Adekora.
Feels like the crosses from the left flank have all been met by Atakora. We've got to find a way to bypass the number 4.
Lewis. Smith. It's met by Dixon. Headed down. Oh. Oh. Boy. George Davis gets elevated and takes out Hackworth. Oh, and now Crapo has gone over the top of an injured Louisville player. There's a ton now to sort out. I don't think that that was intentional from George Davis, but the way he went through and elevated his arm by Hackworth and got him by the jaw was gruesome at full speed on first glance.
And suddenly you know why Atakora was upset with what happened.
So the referee using ref edge for a way I very rarely see. He just set an imaginary line so that he could have a moment to figure this all out.
So communication is key with the assistant. Going to the top pocket.
Well, let's see. Davis has gone over to check on Hackworth. Franz has his hand in his pocket for a yellow card. And a straight red for what came just after. That's Atakora sent off for the miniature brawl that occurred in trying to provide some cover for his captain.
Well, this is huge for the Fury. 1, because they're down to 10. And 2, because Atakora was just a man mountain in the middle, cleaning up every cross, it seemed, played in by Lou City.
Well, and you can see this bench is up in arms. I'm sure from their vantage point, this is where it initially happened. Keep your eye on the left side of the screen. Gets up, hits him, maybe his shoulder, his forearm up at the jaw of Hackworth. And then Atakora got his hand up around the throat of Cameron Lancaster. And that's simple, you're out.
You can't do that at all. It's an easy call for Matthew Franz once everything was sorted out with his assistant on this near sideline as to who the culprit was. You cannot put your arm up like that. You cannot react like that as a player. George Davis the 4th. Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was the arm or shoulder. The gut reaction in the run of play was it was certainly contact, but I didn't think there was anything malicious in it.
Well, the player that's been most influential for Ottawa so far in this game, you had said it maybe, what, 3 minutes earlier? How do you get the service from the left-hand side to bypass Atakora? The answer is him being in the locker room.
It's not what I meant, though.
Not at all.
Cave is down. And Matthew Franz will be happy for the halftime whistle as much as the players will.
I think the frustrating thing, if you're Ottawa, you're trying to defend your captain who just got drilled in the head. I see where the pushing and shoving comes in. It's just the nature of it. From the replay we saw, appeared to cross the line. And then it feels like the team that got wronged in the first place ends up maybe literally getting insult to injury.
Well, it truly is.
Wow, advantage play. Davis able to get this onto Jimenez. Jimenez reaching the byline, cutting it back. And it'll flex straight down, get cleared away.
Great defensive work there in numbers by the Fury. And the bottom line is, even though your emotions are running high, Mike, you cannot react like that as a player.
Offside flag is up.
And we see it in all sports, bench clearing brawls in baseball and teams coming together in football before even the whistle is blown for the kickoff. I mean, you just got to temper the emotions and be smart about the way that you go about your business. Otherwise you end up in situations like this, and Coach Popovich is having to go to his bench.
Sergio Manicio said to come on. Former Tottenham and West Brom Academy player.
Bringing on a defender. He's taking off a forward with Sanon coming off the field. There's frustration for Sanon, who's having a fairly decent game. Wasn't really getting any service up top. He had some bright moments. See some substitutions in the first half that neither coach would want to make.
But I know who they're brought to you by.
They certainly are brought to you by Great Clips. I'm not sure that it's always going to be great at Great Clips, but the coaches will be saying it's not great to make the substitutions that has been made in this first half, with Dobrovolsky replacing Rangetzi. And now Maniso coming in to replace a forward for Ottawa Fury.
Well, this game all changed here in the 40th minute. Nana Atakora, who was really a beast in the back line for the opening 35-40 minutes, sent off straight red after a yellow card worthy offense by George Davis IV. Carranza slip ball back looking for Smith.
Great vision there from Carranza. Coach Popovich is being pretty aggressive in the way he's set the team up, going with a 4-3-2. Flattened to a 4-4-1 defensively. They will have the ball. They will try and get players forward.
Ball played ahead, Davis. Davis goes down! People pointing all which ways. Edwards screaming at Davis, feeling that he had taken a dive. And it is play on.
Well, the interesting thing, Mike, is that George Davis is on a yellow card. If the referee thinks that he took a dive, where's the second yellow?
Well, and on the previous offside, the reason everyone was so angry is Davis then shot the ball over everybody. Well, in a normal scenario, are you giving a yellow card for that?
It's entirely possible.
Stoppage time brought to you by Sullivan University in this first half. I'd be shocked if George Davis plays the second ball. Headed across, headed in! Who else? George Davis IV. Tumultuous first half, but Louisville leads in stoppage time. The goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky Lottery.
Davis IV has been around the action all game long. Finally, a great ball in from Smith. He's been trying to serve that in all game long. And finally, the ball arrives. And there is Davis IV with a diving header. Excitement for the home fans. More frustration for Ottawa Fury, who will argue that Davis IV shouldn't even be on the pitch.
All right, well, shoe on the other foot. Should he be on the pitch?
Well, I mean, the referee said that he can stay.
Fair enough.
Gave the yellow card for the infraction that led to the sending off.
McCabe, Davis. And the reason I said I don't think Davis is going to play in the second half, it's clear there's some animosity there, and it's going to be a really razor-thin line for him in the second half.
I think you're right there. It'd be interesting to see whether John Hackworth does go to the bench at the halftime break. Maybe with the goalkeeper situation and only having 2 substitutions left, he might be a little reticent to make that change right at the halftime break, but when you do have a player like Brian Ownby on the bench, certainly that would be a change that I could see forthcoming, and one that I'd be excited to see with Ownby on one side and Lewis on the other.
That was back set for Oliveira, who's trying to cycle that. Lewis, quick shot, and perhaps he thought Lancaster would get there a bit quicker. It was 3 minutes of stoppage time, so we're near its conclusion. Coming up at the half, show you some news and notes from around the league. Matt and I'll tell you everything we know about Tuesday's big announcement that everyone in USL should watch. Everything we know. Lewis spun off the ball, and a foul come right before halftime.
I'm a little surprised that this was given. Edward had a similar challenge earlier in the half that wasn't. The assistant puts the flag up. Perhaps there's a little bit of the old chicken wing action going from Eddie Edward.
All right, well, maybe there's one more opportunity here. This ball doesn't go in on the first time. This first half will be over. Jimenez, header, stop down and in! Cameron Lancaster's 20th of the year! His boots are looking a little more gold. The goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery.
There is no other team in the USL that makes more of their set pieces than Lou City. In large part because of the consistent service from Oscar Jimenez, and he does it again. Whips the ball in with the right foot. And another deft header from Cameron Lancaster. And that was the final action of the first half.
Well, Matt, let's be frank. If you're Ottawa and your coach Nikola Popovich, you are very unhappy going to the dressing room with what happened here at the end.
You have to be very frustrated. The goal scorer of the first goal, George Savers the fourth, you don't think should have been on the pitch. And then a free kick given right at the end of the first 45 minutes that probably was ignored earlier in the first half. But both times, Lou City have made you pay for mistakes.
Coming up in our Kentucky Drive Chevy Dealers halftime, our Commonwealth Credit Union scoreboard. Get you up to date on the Eastern Conference, our Vision Works what to look for as we go to the second half of play. Ranjitsingh goes down, a red card to Nana Adekora. Great saves, even if they weren't given. And for Louisville City, 2 goals right before halftime. Davis and Lancaster, more landmark goals. Halftime coming up.
Performance, style, adventurous, safety. They say good things happen to those who wait. Well, you've waited long enough. Now at Toyota's Last Chance Clearance Event, you can get $22.50 cash back on a capable, versatile new 2018 RAV4. Or get 0.9% financing for 60 months. Or lease this RAV4 LE for just $209 a month. Make good things happen. Toyota, let's go places.
There's a new threat every day. As an IT professional, I'm prepared for anything that comes my way. With the degree, certifications, and real-world experience I received, I was able to make my passion practical. Because of Sullivan University, I am an IT professional.
Welcome to Riverport Grub and Pub.
The secret is out on Louisville's best pub food, Riverport Grub and Pub.
We have juicy burgers and golden fried onion rings.
Try our cheesy chicken Philly.
How about our famous chicken wings and your choice of sauce?
We have killer nachos and real Italian pizza.
Free pool Mondays, live music on Fridays, play darts and games any day. If you're looking for great food in a family-friendly atmosphere, we'll see you soon.
At the Riverport Grub and Pub.
Jeffrey's Auto, home of the $5,000 car. For a price that's really low, Jeffrey's is the place to go. This is where a car will cost you less. Here the warranty is free, and financing's guaranteed. When other folks say no, we say yes. Scottsburg, Indiana, that's where we are. Jeffrey's Auto, home of the $5,000 car.
Welcome back to rainy Louisville, Kentucky. Tonight's halftime report is presented by your Kentucky Drive Chevy dealers. Find new roads. Plenty of rain, plenty of goals, all coming in stoppage time. Let's take a look at scores from around the league. Our Commonwealth Credit Union roundup. And Matt, that early result from North Carolina, important to push them back above the playoff line. That coming last night. Bethlehem blowing out Toronto. They maintain their position above the line. If New York loses, throws a real wrench into this thing. Indy 11 as well, down 2 to Pittsburgh.
Will throw a wrench into the whole picture, and it'll be exciting for the players under Indy, for the teams under Indy 11. As they're on 45 points. Ottawa Fury, North Carolina, both sitting on 41 points, and they'll make things a lot tighter and a lot closer as the rest of the season goes ahead. That's a great result for North Carolina, winning in emphatic fashion when you have to. And of course, Bethlehem still with the 4-0 win today against Toronto FC2. You've got to beat those teams that you're supposed to beat, and Bethlehem still certainly made no mistake today.
Those are scores from around the league with your Commonwealth Credit Union roundup. Now for a look back at Key Shop presented by Family Allergy and Asthma. If allergies are making you miserable, allergy shots from Family Allergy and Asthma might do the trick. Visit FamilyAllergy.com. Everything but the net moving here.
That was a fantastic save by the goalkeeper, but the team build-up from Louisville City was wonderful. George Davis the fourth, pulling the ball back onto the foot of McCabe. Frustration for McCabe as he thought this was going in. Look at the footwork from the goalkeeper, Crapo, and then total commitment on the dive, anticipating where the ball was going to be played. And that was a wonderful save in the end for Ottawa Fury.
Well, you've already watched some of Week 28's many highlights, but how about the best from Week 27? More halftime coming up. Louisville City ahead 2-0 in your Kentucky Drives Chevy Dealers halftime report. Let's take a look at the very best from a week ago.
Theo takes a shot, and that one is good.
And so Francis tapped over the bar by Dan Lind.
Shank cutting it across, the shot is on and in. Hernandez.
Tipped over the bar by Perino. That's number one at his best.
Here's Saeed. Goal! Oh my goodness!
Off to Adi, a save is made by Patterson Sewell.
To the right foot of Rio, shot goal!
David Olson goes for goal, tipped up by Wazinski.
Tsubasa Endo with a great-looking strike. Endo with some room. Takes a strike. Endo hits it and has a hat trick. Forced lasso. Oh, look at Fernando Adi. Into the box. Fernando Adi, far post. Into the box. Corbin Bone. Corbin Bone heads it in. With that goal, Manu Ledesma sets a new USL record for assists in a season.
Goal and a score! Incredible goal!
Tampa Bay. He'll try and send one in on the ground. Score! And his service in finds the back of the net.
Wow. It's headed back across and down and in.
And is buried into the back of the net.
This could be their moment. It's Baril. Yes.
Ball to Decker, and what a shot at the corner of the net. Right-footed shot, and he has it. And St. Louis has stolen a goal. Now headed in for a goal. Oh, and St. Louis has done it. And there it is. He's just scored. And as Sharp turns the near post, is scored.
Bends it in. Brett is denied and stopped again.
Tambaki's got just enough of a look at it.
And he puts it in. Rips that shot. Followed up and in. And he puts his team ahead once again.
So all that going on ESPN Plus, and how about this? A major league-wide announcement coming up Tuesday at 1 p.m. Matt, any thoughts?
No, I'm really excited and on the edge of my seat. I can't imagine what it could be, but
they won't even tell us. I thought we were cool with the league office, but
I thought we were too. But
no. Haji Berry, 7 consecutive games with a goal scored. He's broken a USL record. Look, it just was falling apart with El Chalice and Las Vegas. He made clear after the loss to Portland last time out that there were problems he needed to figure out. In the end, he parts way with the club.
Well, the decision had to be made, and decided that things were not working in Las Vegas. So get out while the going is good, and give the team something to build on for the future. For Haji Berry, fantastic job. 7 games with a goal. That's really pretty special.
And Dolly and Dottie, as I heard it, are still with the franchise. Did not follow El Chalice. Here's upcoming schedule for Wednesday night. Really busy. The USL game of the week, Richmond and FC Cincinnati, but Indy and Tampa Bay have a lot of playoff implications. Charleston and Pittsburgh both hang around right behind Louisville, have a chance to jump them in the standings if things go the right way.
Some big games, and as you expect, 3 points on the line for all these teams is huge at this point in the season. Everybody trying to get into the top 8, trying to stay in the top 8, and there's going to be some really exciting action around the league. And I'm going to be interested to see how the Riverhounds do as they're trying to catch Louisville City.
And the USL game of the week schedule, we're down to just 2. Richmond and Cincinnati on Wednesday night, and then the Chalice-less Las Vegas Lights and Phoenix Rising. So Phoenix right now, game in hand, good position in the Western Conference. Matt, they could be the Western Conference champion. And FC Cincinnati, if they get a point or Louisville drops one, they are the champions of the East in the regular season.
That's great for FC Cincinnati. They did run away and hide and really have been on a fantastic tear of late and winning all of the games that they've been playing. And then for Phoenix Rising, if they win out, then they can claim the league title for themselves on the Western Conference.
Rain continues at Slugger Field in Louisville as your Kentucky Drive Chevy dealer drives on. When we return, Louisville City a 2-0 lead. Ottawa down to 10 men. We'll show you how it all happened after this.
Performance, style, adventurous, safety. They say good things happen to those who wait. Well, you've waited long enough. Now at Toyota's Last Chance Clearance Event, save on the Go Anywhere 2018 4Runner with $1,000 cash back. Get $1,750 cash back on an aggressively sophisticated new 2018 Highlander, or lease a Highlander LE for $259 a month. Make good things happen. Toyota, let's go places.
You know, I was excited to partner up with Baptist to do a training facility in Louisville.
We hired the right people to get the job done.
You can come here and hop into a group training, or if you want one-on-one training, we can focus on that.
It's kids that want to develop and get some confidence to adults who are looking to join a class.
It caters to whatever you want to accomplish. Live, enjoy life, and just be healthy.
So on your way to a ball game, you got sideswiped by a guy in an SUV who thinks he owns the whole road. You're injured, and now you're going to your lawyer before getting medical treatment? You gotta be kidding me. Go see a doctor. Take care of your pain and injuries at a medical facility like Synergy. The medical specialists provide physical therapy for a living. They can also help you with all your accident-related paperwork. Give them a call and let them take care of you. It's your choice. Choose Synergy.
Score huge savings right now during Ram Power Days at Kentuckiana's #1 Commonwealth Dodge Ram. Save on every new Ram in our giant inventory, like an all-new 2019 Ram Bighorn Edition Crew Cab 4x4, marked down over $11,000, just $36,988. And save big on every new Dodge, like an 18 Dodge Caravan, now just $22,888. A new 18 Dodge Journey, now only $18,888. Commonwealth Dodge Ram, right on Preston, and always right on the price.
You're goal-driven. You know what you want, and you aren't afraid to put in the work necessary to get it. You don't need to find yourself. You know who you are. It's clear what you want from your education. You're not searching. And the degree that you want is the one that's practical. Make your passion practical with a medical degree from Sullivan University.
Welcome back to tonight's halftime report, presented by your Kentucky Drive Chevy dealers. Find new roads. Rain pouring down in buckets, and for those of you in the comfort of your own living room, we hope you've enjoyed it with Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts alongside. Good crowd tonight, as 2 more home games to be played here before the playoffs begin in the 3rd week of October. Louisville up 2-0 over Ottawa. Let's see how it happened. First half highlights. And for Louisville City, this was a really physical opening 45 minutes. And, well, this is maybe the biggest concern of them all. Greg Ranjitsingh taking a goal kick. He would try again, another goal kick a few minutes later. He had to come off.
Dobrovolsky coming in as the substitute for Ranjitsingh. That is a huge moment for Lou City. And that was a huge moment for Crépeau. We think he made the save. The referee didn't agree with us. He gave the goal kick. Either way, the goalkeeper would have covered it off of the header from Lancaster. That one he did save. This was played back by Davis IV and found McCabe, who found the goalkeeper. And then, as the action continued, the physicality continued, George Davis IV involved again, made contact with Hackworth. He goes down and gets a yellow card for his trouble, but in the melee that ensued, the defender Atakora, who was a real mountain in the back 4, was sent off for his physical contact with Del Piccolo. And then playing a player up, Louisville were able to take advantage as Carl Smith crosses this ball in beautifully. And a player who the visitors will think shouldn't be on the pitch, George Davis IV, with the diving header, puts his team ahead. And then right at the death of the half, Jimenez again with a wonderful service. He finds Cameron Lancaster to give his team a 2-0 lead. And that was the last touch of the ball right before the final whistle of the first half was blown. And there's the statistics for the game, and that really tells the picture. 67% possession for the home team. 7 shots, 3 on target. It's a pretty impressive stat line for Lou City.
Yeah, dominant for sure, as Louisville a 2-0 advantage over Ottawa. Halftime trying to snap a 64-day, 5-game winless streak at Slugger Field. A look at the VisionWorks, what to look for in the second half of play. And for Louisville, they'll be looking to keep on the gas and finish this off with 3 points, a concern of late.
It is. They've got to make sure that they play the full 90 minutes. There's nothing tactical right now for the home team or even the visitors, but you've got to keep on the gas and don't let Ottawa back into this game. With the Fury, they've got to pull together, play for each other now if they're going to find a way back into this match and not allow the frustrations of the first 45 minutes to continue into the second half.
Louisville in the purple tonight. We'll move right to left on your screen. In the second half of play, Ottawa in road whites. Carranza, who had a very good first half. On loan from Atlanta. Carranza making a great move. Continuing toward Edward, knocks it off him. Corner coming for Louisville. And you think about the way they scored, Matt, in that first half. It's the way they've scored a lot of goals the last few years. Getting wide service off either set pieces or the run of play from Smith and Jimenez and feeding the big goal scorers on the side.
And it's just a recipe that continues to work for Lou City, and it's tough to defend.
Good in-swinging ball. Met. Carranza goes back.
And width in the game of soccer is something that I preach over and over again, and So often you'll see teams, they'll get the width and then they'll pull the ball back because they want to keep possession. For my money, if you get yourself out in the wide position, isolated against the outside back, take that player on, see if you can win, get the ball in, create a goal scoring opportunity, or win a corner kick. The worst that's going to happen, it will go over the end line and you'll concede a goal kick, which is exactly really what happened right there with Popovich taking this one for the Fury.
This portion of tonight's telecast is brought to you by Plainview Apartments. This is hopping back, and Dobrovolsky will pick it up. And Louisville finally healthy, and the one guy that you can count on for every minute of this year goes down. The irony is somewhat striking. And while you don't want to guess, did look muscular, and those things can linger with only 3 weeks to go in the regular season. If you can believe it, 3 more weekends before the playoffs begin. Attacking forward Lewis. Edwards stabs it away. Scores elsewhere. Cincinnati has drawn level in their match. A draw would see them Eastern Conference regular season champions.
And one thing with Rand Jetson's injury, he has a full week to recover. And it becomes really busy for Louisville. 3 games in short order to finish out the season.
I beg your pardon. Pittsburgh with a win. Good, well, this is played across for Oliveira. All that in a moment. Corner on the way. Pittsburgh does have 1 additional game in hand. So while they're 16 points back, they do have 18 available points. So Cincinnati does need a win, or for Pittsburgh to lose, to clinch that #1 overall seed in the East.
It's tough to keep up with all the mathematical permutations.
Some real bear. Nashville is taking a lead on Charleston, which helps Louisville. Not so much Ottawa. Dobrovolsky bobbled and caught that corner.
Wasn't the authority that you'd want from the goalkeeper inside the 6-yard box. In the end, Dobrovolsky did not drop the ball, which is the important thing. USL published a whole list of all the permutations and how many points teams needed to clinch and their playoff places, and it's very confusing reading at times because sometimes what they needed to clinch was more than they had available. Somebody spent a lot of time working all of the scenarios out.
Well, in reality, 538 from ESPN put together a list of odds to win the USL Cup and odds to reach the USL Cup playoffs. Louisville among the favorites to win the Cup at 10% odds. Cincinnati is the clear favorite, as they've run away from most everybody in the league. Wonderful from Carranza. Davis caught by Crépeau. But they seem to think that this is down to an 11-horse race in the Eastern Conference, and that Tampa Bay really the last team through the door as a potential playoff team at number 11. Oliveira. That takes a deflection. And it'll come to Dobrovolsky from Suwahi.
The touch from Oliveira from that long clearance was majestic. Wasn't able to get it out under his feet. The touch was so good, as Jimenez was giving Oliveira all kinds of attention.
By the way, Ottawa listed in there with a 31% chance to make the playoffs, largely based on their tough remaining schedule. Carranza. Louisville, of course, 99% plus chance of making the playoffs. Question right now just appears to be, when do they clinch? Smith for Sawahi. Elsewhere in the league, Phoenix has scored. Lewis. Not a game with a ton of playoff implications in the West. Look, I love the first couple weeks of the season because you get to find out who's good and who's not, but I also love the end of the season when you get to see who proved it over the length of it, and some of these real tight races. Jimenez gets by everybody. Sawahi and Del Piccolo both missed. Gagnon Lapere have to dig it out.
Lancaster was a little slow to his feet. Gagnon Lapere has been in important areas of the pitch for Ottawa Fury tonight. Opening out his left fullback, Eddie Edward, on occasion. So Ottawa are going with a 4-4-1 lineup in this second half defensively. Playing down a player. It's going to be really tough to spring forwards in numbers with this lineup. But they have to find a way to do that and support Dos Santos.
And they've got a very limited bench, too. Through ball, McCabe, Lancaster! McCabe has gone over to ask why. That's not a penalty.
Well, the referee was definite, indicated that all of the ball was taken here. It was a really close call.
Yeah, Minicio did look like he came close, didn't he?
For my money, he went through the back of Lancaster.
Carranza off the crossbar, headed again. Lewis can't put it in. And Lewis trying to take the goal mouth with him.
Carranza's been really fantastic. I'm not sure Crépeau got a touch. Either way, it found the crossbar. Crépeau is furious. He may have got the barest of fingertips to that. Lewis will be ruining those two missed opportunities, but it was great work from Carranza on the right flank.
Carranza dispossessed by Dixon. Back by Gagnon Lapere. Oliveira, one-on-one, cutting inside.
Love the way that Oliveira just squared up Jimenez here. I thought he might try and dive for the byline. Ottawa don't really have the numbers available to get into the box. And the boys in purple were there defensively to cut any pullback away from Oliveira. So you understand why he took the shot. Look at the standings, Mike. What's really interesting to me is it's the middle area of the top 8 that's really close. The top teams have, particularly in the East with Cincinnati, have pretty much been decided. It's not really seeing who's going to get into the top 8 in the West. It's going to be who's in what position. There's still so much to be sorted out with so few games left.
Jimenez sought out Lancaster. Meanwhile, the West has become a lot more clear. Jimenez, McCabe, flicking it to the other side and laid down by Davis. Lancaster thought if he'd gotten that to his feet, he could have done more with it. Corner, Louisville. Well, everyone made a lot of Oscar Jimenez leading the USL in key passes last year, 77. A lot of that because of his set piece taking. Early in the year, Sean Francis was one of the primary set piece takers, but his injuries, Jimenez's brilliance, getting him back into 60-plus key passes this year. Racing forward, McCabe trying to cut this back. That looked like it had gotten out. It did, yeah, corner. Ran off of Benicio, and by the time Crepeau got it, crossed the line.
Very late decision there from the linesman on that far side. It's definitely a corner kick.
Well, you're asking him to look through Crepeau and through the post. And Menez, back post effort this time, got over Del Piccolo. Craig, Del Piccolo turns and laid into it. Davis recovers. Is the break on for Oliveira? No. McCabe cuts this off. Smith for McCabe, who's going to put it back in front. Lancaster's there. Can't hammer it home.
I heard the whistle go. The flag went up. Whether this went out over the byline, possibly did. Anyway, the ball didn't end up in the back of the net. It rippled the side netting. Louisville certainly trying to make sure that they do keep their energy going forwards. As Carranza goes to the ground after a heavy challenge from
referees going into his back pocket. Wow, straight red. Oliveira shown red. Ottawa's going to play with 9 for over half an hour.
Well, my attention was with the ball. I just saw Carranza go to ground. And this is a huge moment, obviously. It's a shame because the red cards are taken away from the game of soccer that we saw for the majority of the first half. As Oliveira makes his way to the locker room.
Oliveira tasted defeat. Swope Park championship game a year ago. Look behind the play. I don't know. Right in the middle of your screen. Yeah, he does kick at him, doesn't he?
He does kick at him. That is a good decision by Matthew France. I think Ottawa Fury have only themselves to blame for losing their composure at important moments of the match. It makes life really difficult.
Well, this appears to be a full-scale implosion for Ottawa.
In the bigger picture, you've got 2 players now that will not be available for the very least the next game, and quite probably for beyond that because of the conduct for what they were sent off for.
If you think about it, they only traveled 4 players that could come in off the bench in the first place. And Salve is the goalkeeper, but Benicio already came on. Adonijah Reed, Christian Portilla, and Tony Taylor are the 3 available substitutes.
It feels like Louisville could just give the ball to Paco Craig and Suhai and pass it along the halfway line for the remainder of this match, and it'll be 2-0.
I hope you're not suggesting that. Carranza skied into the air. Crepeau will make a basket catch.
I don't want to see it.
Well, that would be a good reason to make sure you get some of... well, this portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Luna Azul Tequila, the official tequila of Lou City. Away from Dos Santos. Handball against Lewis. Well, Matt, if you're Louisville, yeah, we know that George Davis is sitting on a yellow card, but go a step further. Anything really close, I think the referee's well aware that Ottawa's playing with 9 right now. Change coming, that's enough for Dos Santos, who really never got the ball enough to make the impact he wanted. Tony Taylor has come on.
Well, like Reed came on as well. Let's see who came off for him though.
So Ottawa has used all 3 of their substitutes, and Christian Portillo will be the only one that does not see the field. On-field players on that Ottawa bench. Stretch ball off the chest of Dobrovolsky.
If I was John Hackworth, I'd be tempted to bring Lancaster off. He's already got his goal tonight, even though number 9 will be wanting to fill his boots and get some more in the situation that Louisville find themselves in, up 2 players. Certainly Brian Ownby might desire a run out as well. And bringing Davis the 4th off would be a good choice with his yellow card situation.
But you mentioned a handful of players there, and you only have two subs to make. Davis and Ownby would be a pretty like-for-like switch. Lancaster has now opened up a 3-goal lead. Daniel Rios and Amaseni Voldson. Taylor for Dos Santos is a substitution. Brought to you by Great Clips. For Ottawa just a moment ago. Chris Cortez and Haji Berry are still on the outskirts. Golden Boot conversation. Jamar Dixon came off. Substitution brought to you by Great Clips as Adonijah Reed comes on. Did have a hat trick earlier this year. Ottawa with 9, packing it in right now, trying to remain just compact enough to keep Louisville from breaking through. Adacora and Oliveira both shown red straight. There was the ball through. Carranza, great step back. Back heel, ball across, Lancaster right at Crépeau.
Lots and lots of patience for Lou City. They don't need to force the pace. Good, quick passing. Trying to find a way to spring open the defensive line of Ottawa. Hancock Ray getting instructions from the head coach. Piccolo dropping back into the back line. They're just trying to make sure that Jimenez and Smith can get further up the pitch, go with 3 in the back. In this situation, you have to get width.
Well, there it is. Smith, cut back for Lancaster. The shot rings off the inside of the crossbar from Davis. The ball came back to him, and he gave that an absolute ride off the underside of the crossbar. Tony Taylor won't catch up, and the possession continues for Louisville. I mean, Matt, this looks like a lacrosse man down situation. It looks like a penalty kill. McCabe, Del Piccolo. And if you're Louisville, I'm thinking there's no one on this field that wants to be the guy that gives this away anymore. It's been 3-4 minutes of sustained possession.
It feels like Louisville is trying to reset things, suck out Ottawa further away from their goal, try and give some space for the likes of Lancaster to run through the back line and challenge Crapo's goal.
Corbin Bones scores in the final 10 minutes, and from 1 goal down, Cincinnati comes back to win and secure points number 67, 68, and 69 of the year. 69 points in 30 matches for Cincinnati, and that incredible win streak continues. They're now 19 up on the Riverhounds, who have 6 to go. Cincinnati has clinched the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, which in the last 3 years has proven the difference between going to the USL Cup and falling out early. Jimenez has a direct line to goal. Crapo dives down. New York came back from their deficit to Charlotte, and New York's 1 point puts them on 42 and back above the playoff line.
Good save from Crapo. I thought Jimenez had an earlier opportunity to shoot because of the positioning of the goalkeeper.
They sat her down, misses the far post. It's Paco Craig. Ottawa's going to touch the ball for the first time in about legitimately 5 minutes.
Just good sustained possession from the home team, playing smartly, taking advantage of the situation they find themselves in, up 2 players, up 2 goals. So important for Lou City to not make any mistakes mentally. I'd be tempted if I was John Hackworth to bring on Brian Ownby and perhaps Luke Spencer as the target. You're going to ask me who I'd take off, and I don't have that answer for you just yet.
Pittsburgh continuing to put the pressure on Louisville City. That game in the books. And they've moved above Louisville in the standings. Louisville drops to 3rd, Ottawa to 8th, the earlier results. And Louisville in this second half already have more passes than Ottawa have put together in 69 minutes. Taylor with Ottawa down 2 men.
Well, Cameron Lancaster coming back defensively.
And Ottawa is both tired and out of shape. Trying to snap back. Davis slides in. This will come to Crapo. And this looked like a really painful slide. 2 players that went right into one another. And this really doesn't look good. That's Eddie Edward.
It's just getting worse for Coach Popovich and Ottawa Fury if Eddie Edward is not able to continue.
Oh, man. Eddie Edward played 4 different positions last year, played all over the field, and you can see this is really painful one for him. This is not a game where he's going to be able to hide if he's able to continue at all. Nikola Popovich, ever the tactician, continues on. Last year, he said, we played the most beautiful football in all of the USL. All the coaches would come and tell me that, and then we got no players on the all-USL team at Swope Park. This year, they wanted to play a little bit in that fashion, and he realized that the best way to play with this group this year is to be a little more direct, maybe a little more compact, less expansive. And it's worked out for Ottawa. They're above the playoff line, which they weren't able to say at any point after July 5th last year.
There's credit to Coach Popovich, and master tactician that he is.
And he is. He is brilliant. You sit down with him for 10 minutes and you realize you'll never understand the game as well as he does. Hackworth.
Just understanding that sometimes as a coach you can't play the game or have your players play the game as you would like to draw it up every time. You have to deal with the hand that you have been given. Certainly Coach Popovich has done that, and Ottawa has been successful for the most part this year. Edward is back on the pitch, I believe, which is good to see. Seems to be moving okay as well.
The Rowdies continuing to put pressure on. Jimenez cutting this back. And it's cleared, and there's 4 Louisville shirts back to take it. Popovich, by the way, born in Belgrade, raised in Portugal, fluent in 5 languages, coached in 8 countries. Has been absolutely all over the map and was previously an assistant of an assistant, Jose Mourinho.
It's no wonder he knows the game.
Human patchwork. He's been everywhere. If Ilya Illich comes in, there's no language he's going to be able to speak that will fool this coach. Ball played through. Davis. Right at Crépeau, and Lewis and Lancaster were making runs.
You see Lou City just feeling it right now. Being greedy, have confidence. Davis the 4th in good form. Goalkeepers played well, made some good saves. Keeping this scoreline as it has been since the end of the first half. Give credit to Ottawa as well. They've done a pretty decent job of making life difficult.
Paco Craig will get back to his feet. He and Tony Taylor got wrapped up, tangled up.
Piggybacks are not allowed in the game of soccer.
That's a spot foul, I think. And an automatic first down.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. You were watching that Florida-Tennessee game earlier with some marked glee on your face.
Hopefully the glee continues.
Davis put a charge into that. And finally, Gagnola Perret comes away, the former Impact homegrown. Well, it's been about 20 minutes that Louisville have been up 2 goals and up 2 men. Ottawa playing with 9 since the 59th minute, rather, so about quarter hour, I should say. And Matt, you said it at the time, really, if you just let the 2 center backs play catch the rest of the way, you can walk away with 3 points. So with the scoreline remaining as it is, any surprise? Ball cut back, turn from Taylor. Chance to get one back here. Reed will collect this. Good run by Hackworth to set it all up, and it's knocked away from Taylor. A little surprised Ottawa didn't pull the trigger a little faster there when the lane did open.
You've got to take the chances that are presented to you in the game of soccer, and certainly when you're in the situation that Ottawa find themselves in. I am surprised that Louisville haven't found a way to get another goal. They've certainly had enough possession, enough attack.
Bouncing ball. Lancaster's coming through. Here he comes. Lancaster looking back. He'll shoot. Crépeau, the save, gets out and is on top of it. A couple frustrated players behind him, but I think Cam's onto something here because they were a long way back and he had already reached the goalkeeper.
He was trying to anticipate Crépeau cheating. The goalkeeper expecting that pullback pass to either McCabe or I think it was either Davis IV or Lewis who was in the area. You see just the frustration now between the front four players. You've seen Davis IV take shots where he had players in support. Lancaster, we're no stranger to see him trying to take opportunities inside the box. I think right now for Louisville, if they're going to find a way to get another goal, they have to share the wealth, do something unexpected. You see Lancaster checking back, trying to get involved in the game.
Ball up the right-hand channel. Well, this will be a corner for Louisville. Now Smith drew it. Brian Olby makes his way over. Made his return after a lengthy spell off the field. That's enough for Jonathan Lewis, who impressed again in his second appearance for Louisville City. This substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Excited to see Ownby on the pitch for the second game. I'm disappointed that he and Lewis aren't in the game together.
Service and Menez snap down and in! Sawahi!
I said you had to share the wealth, do the unexpected. It's not unexpected to have a great service on a set piece from Jimenez to the near post. But Ottawa expecting it to be Lancaster as the target. In this case, it was Sawahi just making an easy diagonal run across the six. Ottawa falling asleep, mentally fatigued. And that was a good directed downward header from the number 3.
That goal brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. That makes it 3-0 Louisville, and they want more. Lancaster finds Ownby! Crépeau gets up, pops it over the top, another corner for Louisville. Ownby almost had, amazingly, his first goal of the year if he knocks that in.
On his first touch of this game. That was another wonderful save from Crépeau. Feels like the floodgates are about to open.
Ottawa down to 9. Jimenez, back post. And Crépeau has kept this from being much worse. This may be a rare chance for Ottawa to try and get numbers the other way, but Louisville have streamed back on defense. Put this in comparison, Ottawa is looking for a team record number of shutouts. Reed! Volsky never got a touch. Reed hung that wide to the left.
Just snapped the attempt from Reed. Pulling his right foot over the top of the ball, dragging it wide of the left-hand post as we look at the goal. Great skill. Marco Craig beating all ends up. Dobrovolsky coming out to close the angle. And Reed just snatching the opportunity. As good as it will feel for Louisville to win this game and get the 3 points, Mike, they want to keep the shutout intact.
Sawahi's second goal of the year. And you think back, Louisville blew that 2-goal lead at Pittsburgh. And then turned around, and John Hackworth told us this week the importance of them facing the exact same scenario, plus down a man, having to maintain their lead away to Penn. He wanted fewer mental errors. Ownby He gets a little shove from Hackworth. He was offside. Felt like Lucky Mkosana got let through one too many times with Penn FC. And for Ottawa, their first back-to-back win since they were playing in the Canadian Championship. And, well, this is not the way they thought it would go. We mentioned it at the top of the show. This will run past Craig and out. Nearly $250,000, and Ottawa are projected to be without power tonight and maybe for a while after tonight, after a tornado ripped through the Canadian capital. And so I think I speak for everyone from Louisville City and USL and top to bottom, wishing all the folks in Ottawa the best as they move forward. North Carolina FC there in the midst of it all as well in the Charleston Battery with the Hurricane Florence dumping all that water down. Davis, Carranza, Lancaster! Lancaster's 21st! His goal-scoring tally can grab a bourbon now. The Golden Boot leader can once again say that his goal was presented by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery.
And this was Lancaster at his best. It wasn't supposed to end up on his boot, but when it does, he knows exactly what to do with it. Tuck it away, the despairing dive of Crepeau. Understanding the movement of the goalkeeper, putting it back across the grain. Good work there from the team to get the ball into the box. A little bit fortuitous that it came to the foot of Lancaster. No mistake from the number 9.
83rd minute, 21 goals. Game-winning goal last year in the USL Cup final. And he's only gained steam since then. Shoulder injury that had him playing in a brace. His shin injury at Cincinnati that James O'Connor said at the time made it look like he had a lump the size of a grapefruit. And yet here he is. Another brace tonight, and he is closing in on the Golden Boot. Lancaster was actually sent home after his trial, if you can believe it. Then they called him and said, no, come on back. He was the leading goal scorer per minute played 2 years ago. He was injured early last year, and Luke Spencer took the spotlight. But James O'Connor made it abundantly clear that he thought Lancaster could be the next Chandler Hoffman, the next Matt Fondy. And what's more, he didn't need to make this a Roger Maris moment where, the number of games comes into play. He is simply the greatest single-season goal scorer in Louisville City history. Better than a goal every 90 minutes, Matt.
His record speaks for itself, but the manner in which he scores his goals makes him the complete player.
Carranza short arms it for Lancaster.
You've seen him score a headed goal tonight. Ball, the opportunist strike of the center forward. Spencer comes on. It's Davis the ball that comes out. I was going to say, if John Hackworth wanted to pull Lancaster off, he would have to go out on the pitch and drag him off.
Well, Davis got this party started more ways than one. Scored the opening goal and was in the midst of the kerfuffle that led to the first red card that opened this game wide. Substitution brought to you by Great Clips. It's going to be great. And George Davis nearing his 200th USL appearance shortly before halftime.
It was a wonderful moment. Smith, as he's done several times this season, delivering a wonderful cross in. The Fury ball watching. Davis the fourth. he had good movement at the back post, opened things up. And then with the diving header, the Plum puts it into the back of the net.
Slip ball, Ownby. Ownby was offside. 87th minute, post game. We'll wrap this one up for you. Get you ready for the team's next match. Highlights of the game that was. Ownby showing a willingness to get dirty here down the stretch, with Ottawa playing with 9 since the 59th minute, playing with 10 to start the second half, and through stoppage time in the first half.
That's good work from Ownby. I was worried he'd get a little impatient. He just tracked Hackworth into the corner. He was able to make the tackle when it needed to be. I thought he was fouled, but maybe just frustration at the situation that he finds his team in.
For Louisville, we talked about rotation. In total, they use only 6 players that appeared in their most recent game against Penn FC. Although the storyline tonight, despite the first win in 64 days, Slugger Field for Louisville City, and the end of a 5-match winless streak at home is going to be the loss of their goalkeeper for at least the night, if not longer. This will get kicked away from Jimenez. Louisville now plus 26 in goal differential. They are 7 better than Charleston. They're the closest competitor behind them, and they're above Pittsburgh as well.
Still amazing that Pittsburgh have a plus 19 goal differential, considering how few goals they have scored.
That is a Bob Lilly special. As that Rochester coach made his way to Pittsburgh, it became clear not only were they going to make the playoffs, which they haven't done in nearing a decade, but the way they do it, only 4 losses so far.
And 41 goals scored, and they have a plus 19 goal differential. It's only 21 goals conceded. It's remarkable by any measure.
Think they're happy they came out?
Braving the weather, braving the rain. I certainly saw a great performance from Lou City. I think the home team would have been successful either way because they were dominating the game at the time of the sending off. As Craig gives one more opportunity to the visitors.
Tell Paco Craig that they're up 4-0 in the 90th minute. Hackworth would love to stick one right in the net here. There is a pretty realistic chance these teams will see each other again. Hackworth off the wall, because right now Ottawa is sitting at 8th, pending the result from North Carolina. Somehow Tampa Bay has moved within a point of the playoffs. 1 minute of Sullivan University second half stoppage time. But if Ottawa were to find that 6-7 seed, they could see Louisville right here at Slugger Field.
That would be a juicy fixture, that's for sure.
Hackworth, Spencer won that. Trying to break out. I think he'd like a goal too. Ownby will check back. I think Louisville will be happy to take this to the dressing room. 3 soggy points, count nonetheless. Dominant performance really started once Ottawa went down 2 players. Jimenez curling that. Finds Ownby. Throw Louisville. A second straight win for Louisville. Back into second place in the Eastern Conference. And an out-and-out dominant performance by Cameron Lancaster. Goals number 20 and 21 of the year. And Louisville's first home win since July 21st, and it comes again with 4 goals. Ottawa finished with 9 men. Simply couldn't keep up with the reigning USL Cup champion on the night.
Louisville, to start the game, we're around the ball defensively, getting forwards in numbers, connecting on passes, creating width, creating problems for Ottawa Fury. We weren't able to find a way to get on the score sheet until George Davis IV was able to head the home team in front. And then they never let up. Ottawa Fury had some problems of their own making, losing composure, having players sent off, just opened things up for Louisville, and they took full advantage. Cameron Lancaster, goal scorer extraordinaire, really did a great job tonight.
All smiles for Louisville. See Sawahi gets a goal, George Davis as well. As Cameron Lancaster has the spotlight on him again. 4 up in the Golden Boot race. And Louisville 4 up on Ottawa full time. Into second place in the East. To wrap it up, we've got your Toyota move of the match after this.
Performance, style, adventurous, safety. They say good things happen to those who wait. Well, you've waited long enough. Now at Toyota's Last Chance Clearance Event, get $1,000 cash back on a rugged new 2018 Tacoma. Lease a Tacoma double cab for $269 a month, or get $2,500 cash back on a full-size Tundra Crewmax. Make good things happen. Toyota, let's go places.
Our GE appliances come with a, you can't choose your neighbors, but you can choose your premium finish.
Ooh, you got the black stainless. Sleek, thanks. I need your help with the backsplash.
There are lots of ladies that miss minutes.
Oh, that's nice, sweetie. Maybe something stone or...
3 pizza guys just showed up. Now the pizza guys just took off their shirts.
The most premium finishes, so you have the most choices. Another way we make good things for life.
At Dr. Mark Lennon Associates, I focus on taking care of my family, but I also focus on taking care of your family. We firmly believe that you've got to give back. Our primary goal is to do what's right for the patient. If that means glasses, contacts, or treating an eye condition, we will be sure you get the care that you need. We want to take care of you the same way we take care of all our family. This is our family. And here at Dr. Mark Lennon Associates, we're focused on your family, the community, and most importantly, your vision.
What an advertisement for Louisville City. They have not won here in 2 months. Everybody's going to go over and meet with the fans after this. First home win for John Hackworth. And Louisville City blows out Ottawa 4-0 at full time. With Matt Stubbington, Mike Watts. And Matt, let's take a look at full-time highlights. Louisville buoyed by the fact that Ottawa could not keep their tempers in check. 2 red cards proved to be really what spur on Louisville. But this, the big storyline early, Greg Ranjitsingh injured.
This is a huge moment for Louisville. Injured on the goal kick. Hopefully it is nothing serious. He'll have a week to recover. And John Hackworth and the team will be hoping that he does so. And then later on in the first half, this was the huge moment as George Davis IV goes in on a challenge with Hackworth. Hackworth goes down. George Davis IV looked like to make contact with his upper arm or perhaps his shoulder. Adekora took offense at what happened. He then got in a melee, put his hands around the throat of Del Piccolo and gets sent off. George Davis IV gets a yellow card. Down a player. George Davis IV, Carl Smith take full advantage. Ottawa Fury here, ball watching. George Davis IV peels off, opens up some space, and then with a diving header, puts his team in front. And the Fury at that point will think that they were a little unlucky. They thought Davis IV shouldn't be on the pitch. And then right at the end of the first half, there was a foul. Jimenez, a set piece extraordinaire, specialist on this delivery. And there was Lancaster, the goal scorer extraordinaire, with the finish at the near post header. And then more silliness from the Fury. Oliveira here kicks out at the youngster Carranza, who had a really good night for Lou City. He gets sent off to the locker room, does Oliveira. And Lou City from that point just keep possession of the ball. The Fury playing down to 9 players. And fantastic work off the set piece. It was Sawai, he puts the header in. And then his second of the night, popping up Lancaster, knew exactly what to do with a fortuitous bounce to his right foot. Crepeau and net couldn't do anything to keep it out. He made some really good saves on the night, did Crepeau, but he couldn't keep all 11 out that found their target tonight for Louisville.
Ranjitsing and Dobrovolsky combined for a 0-save shutout. As Ottawa, the possession says it all. They didn't have a lot of it before the red cards, but afterward, had no chance.
They didn't. The game just got out of hand, and Louisville were efficient with the way they passed the ball around. Didn't make any mistakes when it mattered most. Were able to put the ball in the back of the net when the opportunities presented themselves to them.
Let's take a look at tonight's Toyota move of the game. Let's go places. And it's a great teamwork goal that started it all off.
And Del Piccolo there with a switch in the point of attack. A fantastic job picking out Smith. And then Smith having the time to look up, measure the cross, curls it in beautifully. And George Davis IV with the finish. You see George Davis IV just peel off a little bit, a couple of steps back towards the far side of the pitch. That gave him the room then to attack the ball, and he did it perfectly. Crepeau could do nothing about.
So the playoff race continues to percolate. Ottawa Fury next up at Toronto FC 2, and that is a must-win for Ottawa, as Toronto still licking their wounds from a 4-0 drubbing at the hands of Bethlehem Steel. Ottawa right now just above the playoff line. For Louisville City, their next match will come up away to ATL UTD2. And again, if you want the number 2 seed, you can't let those points slip away.
You cannot let these points slip away. The next 2 games for Louisville are against Atlanta United 2 and then TFC 2. Those games against teams below them in the league, below the playoff picture, you've got to make sure you take care of business with those.
So Louisville City takes full advantage of Ottawa's struggles. 2 red cards, one at the death of the first half and one 15 minutes into the second. 2 goals in first half stoppage time, and then the Louisville deluge began. For Andy Martinez, director Jim Clark, producer Brian Duvall, Matt Stubbington alongside Mike Watts saying, thanks for watching. Cameron Lancaster bolsters his Golden Boot resume. Louisville continues to add to their 2nd seed CV, and they blow out Ottawa. The final score from Slugger Field, Lou City 4, Ottawa 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.